Okay, we're recording now. Let me just do one more thing. So, like, how has it been for you so far with the account? What are your thoughts on it? Like, is there something first that's confusing you that you wanted to ask me, or do you just want me to tell you what I'm seeing?
Um, for me right now, my difficulties is that I have traffic. I have a low traffic. Yeah, because um, I'm handling some other accounts like DIY, but it's not. But I'm not that kind of it having that difficulty of having traffic for other niche. But for this coffee niche, I'm kind of it having that.
You're not getting the traffic that you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
How are you tracking the traffic?
We have Google Analytics for traffic monitoring.
Okay, because
And
I was gonna say it's been synced here, but it's not synced correctly because it's showing 0. Like in this section in Tailwind called referral traffic, it shouldn't, I mean, obviously you're not getting 0 hits, right? You're getting some hits. So I
yes,
was gonna ask
we're,
you if I can see the
we're
Google Analytics screen.
yeah, I will open.
Okay, cool. I have some dashboards too that I'm gonna share with you that you can put on your Google Analytics in the dashboard section. And they're great. They show all the stats from Pinterest specifically. So you'll get those after our call too. You're going to love those.
Okay.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay. Can you share your screen with me? Here, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, wait. Um, okay, I'm going to share screen. Share screen. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Google.
So yeah, I was curious because I couldn't see, I
Analytics.
didn't have access to this. So I'm very curious to see what is the Pinterest traffic from there or what it's
For
showing.
for the last 7 days, we just what's the average? Let's see the yesterday. What do you want to see? The last 7 days or
Actually, go to acquisition on the left
okay?
and then all
And
traffic channels.
great.
I want to see a month at a time. I think it's hard to, yeah, can you look up the last 30 days?
Last 30 days.
Yeah,
One.
and then we'll click Pinterest. Like Pinterest, you know, it goes up and down all the time. So some weeks, if you're looking at it, it can seem bad because it's like such a small amount. But so I think it's better to look at least 1 month total. Just do in date range, or yeah, that's fine too. You can do date range last 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
so
need to
it's
click something.
1700.
How many days?
If you go back up to the date range, and then just don't
20.
do that. Do date range. See it at the right where it says custom. Yeah, just click there. No, where it says custom. Yeah, last 30 days or last month.
Apply. Or last month.
Okay, 1100. Can you click Pinterest actually? And then I want to zoom out even more. Can you zoom out to like the last 6 months? When did you start working on the account?
The started working. Wait, I need to look at my October.
Okay, so take the calendar back to September 1st. I want to see.
September 1st.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's look at that range.
And
Or yeah, you can go to today. Why is it only showing 1 dot? Why isn't it showing all the days? Oh, there we go. Can you change this to show daily instead of weekly or instead of monthly?
okay. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, cool. So yeah, Got it. Okay, so well, I'll just say that like sometimes it takes a long time with Pinterest. This isn't so bad. But I think like if you are just keep managing the account and if you follow some of the tips I'll tell you, then you should see it going gradually higher. Because like it's slow and it takes a long time because Pinterest has all these algorithms. So it's never overnight, you know, you have to be pinning before you start to see like the traffic going slowly up. But you should like eventually because they have really good pins for this account on the blog. But I'll give you some tips of things to change from what I saw.
Okay.
And then you can ask any questions. Can you stop the screen sharing?
All right. Wait. How?
I'm going to go pretty fast because there's a lot I want to tell you, but you can always watch the video again. And like you can ask any questions that you have about anything. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let's see. I'll just share my screen just to have it there. But yeah, you should resync this because it's not synced correctly. See, it's showing 0 if you want. I mean, I like to look in here to track it sometimes because it'll show the last 30 days. But
Okay.
if you're not using that, don't worry about it. But I just noticed it was set up, but incorrectly because it's not syncing. Okay, let's begin. So, oh yeah, I saw the form that you filled out. I just wanted to, I have something for you as well. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
I made a spreadsheet that has all of your boards with all of the board names and descriptions. And if you want to use that, I'll give you access to it. And then you can use it to kind of like stay organized and, you know, if you want to make changes to the board names and the board descriptions, you can first sort of look there and then you can like plug in the changes. So,
hello?
Can you hear me?
Still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh my God. Hello?
Can you hear me? Chat?
Yes, okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay. No worries because you'll have everything on the recording if you missed anything.
Okay.
So let me show you this. See this spreadsheet? I'm going to share this with you. And it has like all the boards from the account.
Okay.
And the board descriptions. And let me show you what else is important for here. We copied down the virality scores and the engagement scores from the Tailwind board insight section.
Okay.
So I was thinking the first thing that you can do before you really start like fleshing out the schedule and like doing a bunch of scheduling is to come in here and see how like, hold on, I'll just look at only the group boards. See how these have a virality score, which is like the average amount of repins. And then there's the engagement score, which is the average amount of repins for the size of the group. So you only want to be pinning to the best of the best boards and well, group boards, especially like your boards for your own account. It's fine if they don't have high virality scores because you have to grow them. And these numbers change over time. But the point I want to make is that, especially with group boards, when you share pins to the best boards, a lot of people see them. And when you share pins to boards that don't have high engagement rates, Pinterest won't show those pins to the followers. So see, this has 52,000 followers, and you might think like, oh, that's so good to get exposure to those 52,000 people. But if there's a low virality score, actually Pinterest isn't even showing it because they've decided like, well, people who were following this board didn't engage very much with the content, so we shouldn't show it. So maybe what I would do to start before you do anything else is to remove yourself from like, I would say maybe anything below this number 1. So like there's not a virality score that you have to have, but considering you're on so many group boards and there's so many that are great, you know, there's so many that are like above 1, get rid of at least everything from here down and don't pin to them and remove them from the board list. You want to like pin more to the places where they're going to get seen more. And like check back after a month and make sure that like either they've grown or, you know, let's say you want to do another culling where you get rid of a bunch, you know, then you can say like, okay, everything under 2 we're getting rid of. For now, like I would say probably to get rid of everything 1 and below is fine, and see how you go. Because like I said, you don't want to be pinning to a lot of places where the stuff isn't getting seen, because then it hurts your virality score. Does that make sense? Like the higher proportion of pins that you share that get impressions and that get clicks and saves, the better your account's going to do. So if you want, I mean, I would even go for like maybe everything below 1.69, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's still 12 group boards. Do you know what I mean? That's a lot of group boards to be sharing stuff, especially if these are all just general about coffee. So that's cool. That's great that you have so many good ones too. That'll really help you. So yeah, get rid of all the junk ones. You don't need to be on that many, and they're not helping you anyway. So get rid of the junk ones. Do you know how to do it? You go into I'll show you. You can just like click this little button. I'll just show you with the worst one. Okay, let's do this one.
Can I just delete them? Sorry.
No, you have to go in and leave. It's called leaving. So this is what you do. So this is one of the group boards, and you click, hold on. I think you click this button. Hold on. Yeah. And then it says that's you. Wait, can you leave here? Hold on. Oh, maybe click the little pencil. Yeah. And then this button, leave. I won't do it. Okay. I think you should do it. And then you should like update this spreadsheet to erase them, you know, from the spreadsheet, whatever ones you remove. This is going to be a good spreadsheet in case you want to make any changes to board descriptions or board names. You can mark it in here, and then you can go in and make all the updates you want. But I mean, I think that your board names are good. These are good keywords. I wouldn't necessarily change any of these. Anything that doesn't have a board description, you know, up to you if you want to use them. I've heard that everything that board descriptions help with the keywording and with getting your pin seen as well. If you put like some keywording, you know, some good keywords in some of these, this is one way to do it, where you just put a bunch of keywords, and then this is another way where you have like an actual sentence that like makes sense. People don't really pay attention. It's more like for Pinterest to index whatever you're pinning, because if you pin something to coffee brewing tips and it doesn't say, the pin description doesn't say coffee brewing tips, but somebody searches coffee brewing tips, that pin can show up in search results just because it was on this board. So that's why these keywords are important, because Pinterest is making a note of like what board things are on so that it can show the pins to people, even if the actual pins don't have the keywords. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
And then this is just a few other things I just was researching for you. There's like interest feeds that people can follow. And I just was looking at the ones about coffee, and these are the interest lists that sort of have a lot of traction and like a lot of people follow them. So if you're like deciding to make new boards for the account, you might look here and say like, okay, for some reason, like coffee time is a really popular interest feed. Like people said, like, I'm interested in that. So, you can make a board called coffee time. This is like just for reference to see sort of the top keywords in this niche. And then here I just copied what you wrote me in the intake form. Posts, I didn't have access to your WordPress backend, but if you do have access, what I would do is I would go into posts and like choose the option where you can see all of the posts. Like you can make it so you see, if there's 100 posts, you can make it so you see 100 on the first page. And then in the screen options section, you can say, okay, I just want to see the date, the article name, the tags, and the meta description. You can copy the whole thing all at once, paste it in here, and clean it up a little bit. And then you have like a spreadsheet that has all of the posts for like referencing which ones you have pins for, or referencing, you know, you can do whatever you want in terms of like keeping it organized in here if you choose. This is just something that I do with all my clients. I get all of their posts in a spreadsheet like this so that I have reference to them without having to go back into WordPress every time, you know, or like it just keeps it more organized. What else have I got for you? So, okay, so I noticed also, and I don't know like how like easy it's going to be to make this changed, but something that I noticed that I wanted to tell you is that the pin images on the post, I think they're too small. So see, there's this one here.
Yeah, but I'm not the one who's making it.
You don't have any part in that? Okay. Oh, actually, look, no. It is coming out bigger. Okay, I didn't realize that. Even though it's appearing small on the page, it does have a width of 730, which is big enough. This description, obviously, you should change before. I'll show you how to do that. Hold on. Let me get it in the Tailwind drafts. Like, that's not a good description because of those. It's like the file name. You know that like the pin description comes from whatever you put in the alt text or the alt tag field in the website, like in WordPress. Okay, so I would definitely like make sure that you're changing. Hold on, I'll show you. Okay, I just added this to the draft section so I can show you. Make sure you're changing it in here before you're pinning it. Because that's not a great description. You do change them. Okay.
I change every pin description whenever I'm scheduling.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Then I put a couple of hashtags in the descriptions.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I saw that. That's really good because they just rolled out that new hashtags feature. Another thing you can do, you know, just to make it look a little nicer is to make sure all the boards have board covers. It doesn't really matter too much in terms of like, you know, traffic, but just something that I noticed. Hold on, this is just being slow to load. It's just something that I noticed that I thought like, oh, I should let him know, like this needs a board cover. Even if it's just like one of the pins or just like a picture, that's fine. These all have like custom board covers they're messed up because they just changed the format again. But I just saw they're always changing it. I know. It's really annoying. I might just put this up here with the other ones. Yeah, and you can't change the group board covers, but you could change like, I don't know. I'm going to actually do this right now because it's really only this one besides those few at the bottom. So where there's not like a custom board cover, I just look for like a nice picture. Let's see. It always pops back. So see how I just tried to make it like this bottom half and it didn't work? So annoying. Pinterest drives me nuts sometimes. Yeah, we might just have to use one of these ones with the text. Oh, that's a nice one. That looks good. Okay, that's fine. Here we go. Okay. Let's see what else I wanted to recommend you. Just in case Alex plans to run any ads in the future, I definitely recommend you, and I don't know if you know how to do this or if you would be responsible, but definitely let him know that he should install a conversion tag on the website because depending on what kind of ads he might want to run, even if he says like, no, I don't have any plan to run ads, it's still like in case he changes his mind, if he has the conversion tag on his website now, it can track like who's already visiting the website. So just tell him to like get that set up, even if he's like not sure if he ever wants to do ads, because if he ever does ads, he needs the conversion tag anyway. But like the sooner he does it, the more information he'll get from the website of like who's visiting the website in case he wants to run ads in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Just like Facebook pixel.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Facebook pixel. I mean, it's a Pinterest pixel.
Yeah. Okay.
I really like the pin designs. I think that they're perfect. Do you design them or does somebody else design them and you just pin them?
I'm the one's creating.
You're
pins.
Creating them. Cool. Yeah, they're perfect.
Yeah.
'Cause the text is big. Like I always tell people to make like big text and it has to stand out and be really easy to read because, you know, there's so many people using mobile. You did these? These are awesome. this is like perfect for Pinterest. And there's tall ones and there's short ones, and this is just perfect. And then the infographics, of course, are supposed to do really well. So I don't have any feedback about that. I wanted to show you that, like, if you go to a certain URL that's like pinterest.com/source/homegrounds.co, you can see what people are pinning from the website. So this can give you insight into like which ones are doing really well. Looks like a lot of the infographics are doing really well. So you could share more of those. And then I'll walk you through, like, I also wanted to ask you exactly how you are running the schedule. And then I can walk you through a process that I use. Oh, because I saw the schedule's empty. So I don't know if, like, are you using Tailwind at all? Or like, did you just let the schedule run out?
Yeah, the schedule ran out maybe just in December 20 or 8/19. Because I'm trying to create another scheduling, tactic that I'm going to ask you. How do you how do you schedule your pins? Because
I can walk you through that.
That's.
What were you gonna say?
So I'm just want to be sponge today. So whatever you do, teach me. I'm going to implement it.
Cool.
Because for other clients, I use Tailwind and Board Booster together.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of Board Booster, but I'll show you how I use Tailwind to make it really easy.
All right.
So, okay, just a few more things before we get into like the process for using Tailwind. So when you're deciding like about the profile cleanup, what I wanted to emphasize is that you have to pin consistently across all your boards. So if there's a board that's on such an obscure topic or such like a random topic that you can't find a lot of content for it, I would just remove it, because the boards that are pinned too frequently those pins are going to be seen more. Pinterest likes active boards. So in case you have any boards that have like, I don't know, 10 or 20 pins or less, I don't think you do, but like look through here and see if there are any that you don't imagine being able to pin to frequently, and maybe just remove them. Because like I said, you want to pin to less places that are going to perform better, as opposed to just like having so many places that you have to pin to, or instead of like boards that aren't getting pinned to a lot. The strategy that I use, the clients whose accounts I manage, they have different levels. They have either 10 pins a day, 20 pins a day, or 30 pins a day. Do you know how many pins per day the Homegrounds is going to have?
10.
10 a day.
What I've been doing so far is 10 to 12.
Cool. So what I would do is I would go to your schedule. We could set this up now so it's all ready to go. So like I like to do, there's like more than that for some of these. What I like to do is generate a new smart schedule. If you already have pins on the schedule and you use this feature, it will get really messed up because it will like create all these new time slots. But since the schedule's empty, I'm going to do this now. And I'll just say 10 a day. And some will be more and some will be less. So see 10, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 9, 11. It's like averaging out to 10. Or like it's averaging out to like 70 a week. So that's fine. Then let me see what's the next step. So like, are you adding just the pins from Homegrounds, or are you mixing it with other content?
I'm trying to put the Homegrounds pins there, and then I'm manually pinning other content as well. Okay. So what I would do is you don't need to manually pin anything. Like everything can go through Tailwind. It's the same thing. They've done studies, they've done tests where it's like doesn't make any difference. You know, some people are like, oh, you have to be live on the platform because Pinterest like rewards you for that. There's nothing that's been proven around that, and Pinterest hasn't said that until they've done all these studies. So
if you want to just curate here, that's fine. And I can show you. So in that case, why don't we set it to like 13 pins a day? And then you have a little bit of room for curating. So you could do like, you know, on average, maybe like 8 or 9 pins a day from home grounds, and then the rest can be manual. Let's see. The ratio also doesn't matter. And I always tell people, like, some people are like, oh, shouldn't it be 50-50? And I'm like, well, if you have a ton of content on your own website, that's a lot that you want to share, you know? Like, if you're just getting started blogging and you don't have a lot of blog posts, okay, that's fine. But in a case like Homeground, where he has so much content, I would do like maybe 80-20, like 80% his to 20% somebody else's. And don't worry too much about like counting. Like, it really doesn't matter. Just as a general rule, I think that would be the best for this account.
Okay.
Do you have any questions so far?
How do you, for your clients, how many pins are you pinning every day?
Between 10 and 30. It depends on the package.
Okay. So with that 30 pins, you use Tailwind for 30 pins per day?
Yep. I use Tailwind for everything.
Okay.
I never go in Pinterest directly. Except when I'm curating content, I go in Pinterest to search for stuff, and then I'll use the Tailwind extension to like pin it in bulk, and I'll show you how to do that. So the board lists, you need to clean up the boards first. Like, you need to leave all those group boards I told you about that I said you don't need, and then come back in here and redo this so that you've got only the current board, the current boards that you're pinning to here. And then it'll be easier because you can just assign stuff to this, you know, massive board list, and it will fill up the schedule really quickly. Because if you pick like 10 pins and they all go out to these, that's like a whole week of pins. You know what I mean? But like, first clean up the board list, and then you can redo this, and then it'll be easier to sort of, you're going to see an increase in traffic when you stop pinning to those crappy boards and you just pin to the best boards.
Okay.
And of course, make sure, if this is like, you know, if you want group boards that you can pin anything to, make sure to just put the sort of more general topic group boards here and not anything that's more specific. You know, you can make a different board list for anything that's like about a specific topic. So you know that. So let me see my notes. We set up the schedule. I told you about board lists. You know that you can repin the same stuff over and over again. You don't have to always pin something original. Like, you can repeat as long as it's not pins all back to back, and as long as it's not like, you know, pinning the same thing to the same boards every single day. So like, what I would recommend is to check Google Analytics maybe once or twice a month. I think weekly is a little bit too much, but once or twice a month is fine. And go into I'm going to give you some Pinterest dashboards. You're going to love them. Check out like, what are the top performers on Pinterest, and every month go back and like repin the top 5, the top 10, however many like you need to keep sharing those things without filling up the schedule too far in advance. Like, take the top 5 or 10 and then take new posts and pin those pins, and then maybe you know, repin if there's any posts that are old but they haven't been added yet, you can pin those. And then you will like always have sort of some new stuff and some stuff that's already really popular, because the stuff that's really popular, you want Pinterest to sort of keep showing it because it's already proven to be a hit, basically. So use the Google Analytics dashboard that I'm going to give you and sort of check it, you know, every 10 days, every 2 or 3 weeks, whatever. When you're like deciding, okay, the schedule's getting empty, like, how do I refill it? You can check there and find what's sort of been the most popular and the best performing stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I always recommend pinning directly from the site. So like, when you pin something using the Tailwind extension or the Pinterest extension, as opposed to just like uploading the image directly and adding the link, and the description, when you pin it from here, it is like connected to the link that it came from. So that's always better. I always recommend doing that. Then let's see, I said don't pin back to back the same pins. You can use either random shuffling or you can use interval pinning, and I'm going to show you both of those ways how to do that. And then let me just read my notes. Hold on. Okay, that's all. So now I'm going to take you through the pinning process. And this is why I recommend to use this post spreadsheet if you can copy everything over from WordPress, because then like the links, you'll need to put them in manually. Like everything else you can copy and paste. The actual links to the post, you need to copy them over like from WordPress. But once you have this, it's just a really easy way to like open up a bunch of links at once. And then like you could make a column that says like pinned ? And you can mark an X when you've pinned something so that you know, like, you know, you could do like that so that you know which ones have been pinned recently, or you can put in the date that you last pinned something, as opposed to like trying to go through 9 pages of blog posts here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I recommend using that tool. If I had access to WordPress, I would have set it all up for you, but it's pretty straightforward. So like this is how I might pin if I were running this account. Just like I would open up a few posts. Hold on, let me let these load for a second. Okay. Now, did you install the Tailwind Chrome extension?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, cool. So here's what you do. Use that. Oh, there's some infographics in here too. Perfect. Okay, so I'll click anything that sort of makes sense for Pinterest, only the tall stuff. When I click Go Schedule, another window pops up, which you can't see, but I'm sure you're familiar with it if you've been using the Tailwind extension. I'm going to do Save for Later so we can get everything in drafts. I'm just going to do this for all of these, and then I can show you. Oh, there's some really cool infographics here. Nice. These must do really well.
Okay.
Hold on, sorry. I'm just getting all of these in so that I can show you with like a really good example. Just give me 1 second. God, some of these blog posts are so silly. Does drinking black coffee mean you're a psychopath? Give me 1 second. I just have one more. Okay.
Ooh, cool.
Okay, give me 1 second. These are going to be in drafts for later. Okay. Okay, so I have, well, hold on, I just added a few more. I think there's going to be 21 drafts. Okay. So, I mean, obviously you're going to do the descriptions a little bit differently, but for now, I'll just do this really fast so that I can just show you. Oopsie. Let's see. Okay. I might just do like these 4 as an example. So, and I'll save changes so that I can save the pin descriptions. I don't know if you noticed, but if you assign a bunch of boards in these pins and then you hit save changes without scheduling them first, they separate out. When you come back, you'll see like all the same pin with just one board in each. So make sure to always save after you do the pin description, but don't save when you have like, you know, something like this, because then you'll get 7 different pins, 7 different like copies of this pin with 1 each, and you don't want to do that. So just to like give you a little tip about your workflow, don't add the pins and then hit save. Always add them right before you're going to schedule. Sorry, add the boards. Always add the boards right before you're going to schedule, and don't hit save after that. Only like fix up the pin descriptions first and then hit save. Okay, so there's 2 options to do this. You can either assign all the boards, assign these to a bunch of boards, like go through, do the pin descriptions, go through, decide all the boards you want to add everything to. Obviously, you're going to add them to your list of like general group boards, and then you can sort of go through and see like, okay, does this make sense on any of our own boards? Well, obviously you're going to put it on the home grounds board. You're going to put it on the coffee board. You know, why not? You should make a different board list that's for like his own board. So the board list will have like this one, will have this one, anything where these could also go on that other board list, just grouped with the group boards. Like just so that I like to call this, I like to make a board list that's called everything or all pins. And then you can pin all the pins to that board list. And then you can go in and say like, okay, are there any that are more specific that we should be pinning to? Coffee infographics. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I might get rid of some of these boards like coffee tech, or I don't know. Some of them are too specific and they might be hard to pin to regularly. Healthy coffee recipes, iced coffee. Okay, you know what else I might do? So I'm not like going through this list all the time, is I might open board insights in a separate window. And from here, when you're doing this pinning process of like deciding, okay, where do I want this pin to go, which boards, come here, unselect group boards and unselect secret boards, and then you have just your own boards, and you can just look through here really quickly, like, oh, these are all our boards. Okay, yeah, I'll add it to this one, to this one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, cool. So I'll just show you as an example. So you have 2 options, okay? Once you've optimized the board, the pin descriptions, and once you've assigned all the boards you want to assign them to, I'll just do, you see how you can just like type in the first few letters and it pulls it up? I do that as well to sort of save time. And I'm not doing the full process just to save just to save time showing you. So check it out. You could do one thing. You could just add these all to the queue and they'll all go in order. Like it'll be like the same pin 7 times, the next pin 7 times, the next pin 7 times, and then you hit shuffle and you can go in and, find other content and you can just like randomly shuffle it in. The problem with this, just adding a bunch of stuff and shuffling it, is that you're still going to have the same pins possibly going out back to back, possibly going out the same ones on the same day. So there's a more specific method that you can use to avoid that I like, but it does take a little bit more work. But what I'm going to show you, if you choose to use this method, it's nice to like be really exact. So you can say like, okay, I want to have 3 of Alex's pins, 3 of Homeground's pins to 1 curated, then 3 of Alex's, then 1 curated, then 3 of Alex's, then 1 curated, or 4 of Alex's and 1 curated. So I'm going to show you how to do that, okay?
All right.
So let's do, let's make it so that they're going to go out 1 day apart at least, set interval. So see what I'm doing, use interval. Set the spacing that you want to do. You're still going to have to move them around, and I'll show you that. I want to note that you always need to set the interval type to open time slots. That's the default, but don't use optimized and don't use exact, because those will create extra time slots, you know, with the little clock symbol. So you don't want to use that. You just want to use open time slots, so it uses what's already here.
All right.
And this is going to lock them in. And what I didn't realize when I first started using Tailwind is that just because a pin is locked into place doesn't mean you can't move it.
Okay.
So I was not locking them because I wanted to be able to move them, but then I was stuck like, you know, just using the shuffle, and then it wasn't exact. Let me just do a few more so that I can show you. See. I'll show you how this works. Oops. Okay, so now look what I can do. See how there's like 7 in a row that have keys?
Yes.
So I'll count like 1, 2, 3, and then I'll move this one. Oh, sometimes you have to refresh it. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll move this one over. For some, it could be a little buggy. See, it's not letting me move it here. So I'll move it here for now, and I'll just hit refresh. But just to show you, like, you can just move them around, and you can set it up so that you have like 3 in a row and then 1 blank, 3 in a row and then 1 blank. I should probably add some more to be able to do it better. And then in the blank spots, you can go in and add, like, you can go into Pinterest, search like, I don't know, cute cafes, whatever you want. If you're deciding what you want to search based on like the topics that you have, I recommend coming to board insights and saying, okay, what boards have not been pinned to in the last 7 days? Or if there's a lot that haven't been pinned to in the last 7 days, which boards have the least amount of pins so I can build them up, right?
Yes.
So some of these I think you should get rid of, because I mean, it might be hard to pin to some of these, but let's just try with, we'll do like coffee shops in San Francisco. Okay, now I go in here, pick out a few that I like, go schedule. And because like if you set up your schedule to have that ratio, you know, if you schedule a bunch with the little lock symbol, and then you move them around based on like how many you want to go, whatever ratio you want, then when you come in here, once it's all ready and you have your empty slots, you come in here and you can just, oh, sorry, you're not seeing my screen. Hold on.
No, I'm seeing you.
No, hold on, because now I have this pop-up. The little pop-up that came up when I selected the pins that I wanted. I just want to show you how, hold on. So now I'm just going to pin these curated pins to 1 board. You don't want to pin curated pins to more than 1 board, even if they'll fit, because why would you want to share a lot of other people's stuff, you know? Just share out. The home grounds pins should go to any boards that apply, and then the curated pins can go just to 1 board each. So I found all these pins for, you know, coffee shops in San Francisco. I do add board to all. They're all going to go on this board. And then I can just schedule immediately. And it's going to fill up those empty time slots. And then the beauty about this is that, let me share the other screen with you. So now I'll hit refresh. Check it out. It filled in the empty slots. See, there's one of them. Oh, it's weird that it didn't fill out. Oh, I just pinned a few. So there's 1, 2, 3. I hadn't made the right amount of empty slots. But anyway, these are the curated pins. So these ones, once you could fill up the schedule like a month out, you know, doing this process.
Yeah.
going into the blog post, pinning all of them to drafts, fixing them all up and assigning them to a bunch of boards, then moving them around here so that they're like maybe 3 in a row or 4 in a row, and then an empty space, 4 in a row, and then an empty space. And then filling in, you know, curated content from other places that fit on your boards based on searching or based on looking in the home feed. And then you can hit shuffle and only the curated stuff will get jumbled around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like this is a way to be more exact. Alternatively, you can still just do the shuffle thing. You can just pin everything without doing the interval pinning. Then you go in and curate a bunch of stuff and you hit shuffle. The problem with that is that you don't maybe get the ratio that you want. If that's important to you, it doesn't really matter personally, but if it's something that you want to be more exact, and then you might be repeating a few things. But you know, it's better to do that than nothing. Like if you just shuffle, it saves time too. If you just use the shuffle feature, you just drop everything on the schedule and you don't do this like exact thing. And then you just hit shuffle. Like it's fine. I just wanted to show you both methods so that you have a way to like be very precise if you choose, or you know the alternate method. And like I'm telling you, since you only have 10 or 15 pins per day on the schedule, time slots, it's going to be very easy to use this process and fill it up like a month in advance. You know, try not to fill it too many months in advance. Like start with the newest posts, then go through the most popular, then maybe go and see if there's something that hasn't been pinned ever. After that, you know, you probably fill up a month on the schedule, easy. But you don't want to overfill it because you still want to be checking every month, like what was the most popular, so that you can repin those. Does that make sense? And let's say you do fill it up too much. What you can do is you can see what was the most popular and you can just add extra time slots. Like, check it out. You could just set a custom time, or you can do, hold on, I'll show you. Like you can do optimized or exact, and that'll create new time slots and they'll just add it just for the one time. Does it make sense? You'll see that little clock symbol when you do that. How are you feeling about this method?
Good.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, it's more organized.
Yeah, it's methodical. And like I said, highly recommend you use this spreadsheet. You get the posts in here. And then you can like refer back to this and keep track of what you've pinned, or, you know, you can add the date that you pinned something, whatever. And then, yeah, you're going to need to, you know, clean up the profile first, get rid of all the group boards and the boards that, you know, he has that you maybe they're too specific. You can maybe move them to secret if you want, just so they're not like gone forever. And then you can set up your board list, and then you can, you know, decide how many pins, how many time slots you want, if you want more than this. And then you are going to be good to go with this process. And I think like, if you are only pinning to the boards with the highest scores, like that are the best performing boards, and you're, you know, keeping track of what's doing well so that you can reshare it, and you're only, you know, you're making good pin descriptions, I think you're going to see in maybe even like in less than a month, you're going to see a big increase in traffic.
Okay.
So I hope it all works out for you. If you have more questions, let me know. And I'm going to send you after, like probably later today, I'll send you a list of like some of the resources we talked about, those Google Analytics dashboards I keep mentioning. You're going to get to a link to download this video so you can refer back to it. If you rewatch it and anything is confusing or unclear, please let me know so I can clear it up for you. But I think that like having the recording and maybe rewatching this will help you to like let it soak in so that you can use this process for this one and for any other clients you have. I'll stop sharing.
Yes.
Cool. Do you have any questions for now that have come up?
One thing, how do you join group boards? Because I have my process of joining, like I'm listing the group boards and, you know, doing what they want to do for me to join in. Like for me, I just want to ask, how do you join?
So I
What
have,
process do you?
it's hard because like a lot of times when you write to people, they don't respond to you, you know? Do you use
Yeah.
the pin groupie search engine, pingroupie.com?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's no secret besides just like trying to find out the instructions or the contact information and writing to them. For this account, you don't need any more group words.
Yes.
Maybe for your other accounts that don't have enough, you want to reach out. But I think there's nothing else besides what you're already doing, which is just like seeing if there are instructions, following them, and hoping that the people are, you know, still actively letting in new people. I wanted to tell you also, when you get added to group boards, wait 24 hours and check the scores after that in Tailwind, in the client's Tailwind account. It takes 24 hours, like maybe less, I'm not sure, but I always wait 24 hours so Tailwind can sync up with the account information. And then you can check the scores. You don't want to stay on group boards that are not performing. Like I said, there's no certain number that you should have, like for the virality score, but you want to look at like all the other group boards that are already on the account and say like, okay, if this one has a much lower score than than all the other ones, we don't need to be on it. Does that make sense? You just have to see like,
Yes.
what are the scores of all the group boards? And if you just joined a group board that has the lowest score, just leave it. It's not worth pinning on. Group boards, you don't need that many. They just need to have high virality scores. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Oh,
Anything
okay.
else?
None. I guess that's cover everything.
Awesome. Okay. I'll send you
Yeah.
an email this afternoon with more stuff, with more goodies. So look out for that. It was really nice to do the call with you, and I hope you have a nice day.
All right. Thank
Bye,
you.
Chad. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye.